Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how do you all do? Let me go ahead and start sharing the link for this. Bring some people in. All right, we'll put it on X, I guess. Cool. All right. Well, those are the shots. Those are the shots I'm taking. Let's tell Simon to. Why not? Cool. 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 6 concurrent. Wow. Hey. J&M. Max Latusik. What's up, guys? So, I'll tell you guys something. So I used to do streams every Sunday, 9 a.m. or whatever. And I had another channel. I still have the other channel. I just don't do anything there anymore. And so I got like into the habit and the flow, and like, it's a lot of work and I'm so busy, as you know. Hey, Jim, Martin. Hey guys. As you know, busy. So like it's not, I'm not trying to polish anything. I'm not trying to, I'm just going to do my thing. Okay. That's what we're doing tonight. Thank you, Oscar. Hey, what's up? It's cool to see people hopping in. I like that. I like the project. I think I like the project more than I like my mom. I love NativePHP. I didn't mean that. My mom's pretty cool. I love NativePHP. It's so fun to work on, and it entertains me, all the different parts of my brain on every level, working on multiple projects simultaneously that all kind of interconnect with each other, and thinking always about the user and the developer and the user and the developer's users and companies and then marketing. And there's a lot. There's so many things there. So 1 a.m. crew. There you go. Oh, right. It's 1 a.m. for Simon. Hey, Simon. It's 1 a.m. for him. I was up till 2 last night, and I went to the gym though. That was my my brag, whatever they call that thing. My shining moment. I got to go to the gym, and because it's been a while, and I think I'm gonna go again tomorrow. I think so. The format of tonight, it's going to be a little hodgepodgey. So I have a talk coming up next Wednesday, and it's a closed group. Have asked for us to speak and whatever we want to do for an hour and a half to 2 hours, which is humble brag. There you go. No, I'm not being very humble about it though. I've kind of racked my brain for a while, like what's a good app to showcase native PHP and kind of build things out kind of in real time, but really just kind of going through stuff. And I think I have a good format, and I had some different ideas for like how you could do a bunch of different stuff. But I landed at, well, I guess it's time to say what it is. We're building, and I just kind of, let me rewind just a little bit. All right, we're building the Bifrost app. Okay, so that's what it is. So we have Bifrost as the service. Caleb's event is not next week. Don't scare me like that. Caleb's event is in October. It's about a month away. The Bifrost has a service, right? So it's Laravel, and why not have a native PHP app that interfaces with the backend and you could do stuff. And so I've been working on that, working out any like little kinks. I actually didn't vibe code this. I'm pretty happy about that for myself. Let me see if I can show you guys a quick, well, actually that's part of the talk. Like, let's just go through it. So without further ado, I will go ahead and I don't know. Yeah. So slides. All right. So I got some slides up here. So we're just going to go through it. I mean, I can't even hear you guys. So, yeah, let's just do this. Is this the right one? Is this the right thing? Yeah. All right, cool. So good evening, good afternoon, everybody everywhere. And just so you know, before I go into it too much, and I would say this during the talk too, please ask questions along the way. I need that. So if you don't understand something or if you have a suggestion, please just let it rip. If I don't get to it right away, like I see everything. So cool. Building mobile apps with Laravel and native PHP. So it's kind of a whole paradigm shift here that we've introduced somewhat inadvertently, but there's a bit of a story, backtrack story to how this came to be. And we're not going to go too deep into all of that because there's a lot to get through in the next hour and a half, whatever it is. But at a high level, native PHP, my co-founder and I, partner, Simon Hamp, we figured out ways to compile PHP for iOS and Android. And now that we have a PHP runtime inside of Android and iOS, we now can bootstrap different PHP frameworks. We've selected Laravel. It's our choice. That's like what we've been doing for many, many years. And now we can build Laravel apps, and with the press of a button, it's on the phone. And so we've been adding more APIs, more tooling, and all sorts of stuff to make this like a real thing. Like your business could use this, your client's business could use this, and so that's what it is. So the goal for today is we're gonna build a Laravel app, and we're gonna go from Laravel new all the way to the app stores. We're gonna talk about a lot of different mind shifts, mentality shifts that a web developer has to attain in order to build for mobile, but it's really not that scary or complicated. You just have to think about things a little bit differently. And I'm not even fully all the way there yet, right? Like I still I'm the web developer for many, many years now. And so we're still learning some of the mobile stuff as we go along. And but we have enough done now that we are able to teach and kind of bring people along and let them see stuff. Things like state, when apps are running on your users' devices, they're more or less stateless, and we have to have a way to maintain that state and relay that state to whether that's data or whatever, to the back end of a server or with other users, etc. Things like authentication, why we didn't package MySQL with native PHP. There's very strong opinions about this, and we're happy to express those opinions. Security, why we don't want too many things in our env file in Laravel, right? The way that we handle different things, this kind of goes into asynchronous events. This kind of goes into really how native PHP works under the hood. So it's a C runtime engine, and we are sending a request from the front end. Just think of it as a server. We're sending a request from the browser, we'll call it. And it is a browser, it's a web view. And we don't want for any reason for that process to be held up for things like if you start your camera or if you ask for biometric authentication. We don't want that kind of state where it's frozen, because it'll chew up the battery, it'll overheat the phone, it'll slow down everything. And so why we chose and how we came to this asynchronous eventing sort of thing. And if we have time, and I think we might, we'll go into like push notifications. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff actually with like, not a bunch of stuff. We're going to be doing like some main features, some core feature things, and then, you know, showing like native functionality inside. And then, ooh, good question. I'll tell you, it's completely like 4D for me. So like quality is great on this side. So you guys have to determine for yourselves if it's is that a me issue? I do have a little I do have this dropped frames thing here. I wonder if that's it. That might there might be a reason for this actually. But I need to hear from somebody else. All right, it's fine for Simon. J and M, where are you phoning in from? That might be relevant. I'm not sure. If it's fine for one person, then it's not me, I guess, right? Because it can't accidentally be fine for everybody or anybody. Jim says it's okay. J and M, check your internets. But thanks for, I like this. I like the feedback. Thank you. We'll talk a little bit after some push notification stuff, app stores, and the nightmare that could be, but how Bifrost, our service, comes to the rescue and helps you along the way. And the things that we've done to implement things like getting credentials for your signing keys and what does that mean? And like, you're going to explain it to me and then I have to remember this, but you don't because Bifrost handles all that stuff. And we're going to actually deploy an app to the app stores. And then if we still have time, then Q&A, ask me anything along the way. I really like one of those gospel preachers, like I need some feedback or whatever. So there's that. Who am I? I'm Shane. You guys know me. I am co-founder, NativePHP Bifrost Technology, formed with Simon Hamp. I've been a dev in Laravel space since 2012, a little bit before that with like custom WordPress themes and plugins and just kind of dabbling in on that stuff. I'm AWS certified. I think that's expired, but I wouldn't say that to anybody, especially on a resume. Some people say work smart instead of hard, and I say work smart and hard. My good old buddy Simon Hamp, I would be remiss if I didn't mention crappy hotel Wi-Fi will always get you, Jim. Yeah, Salmon Hymp, as I like to call him. Over 20 years PHP experience. Pretty smart dude. And check this out. He's British. He lives off the coast of Africa on a Spanish island. Just let that sink in. It's pretty weird. There should be an app to like just help him figure out who he is, what day. If he turns around, he's speaking in a different accent, and it's kind of fun. So a very famous quote I like to use, talks like this. I see that. You already know how to build mobile apps. Let me show you. Actually, I just said that just now. So there you go. If you're a Laravel dev, you actually already know how to build mobile apps. There's a couple little rules that you have to follow, and then after that, you're good. Talking about native PHP, this would be full screen, but if I go full screen, I can't see this other screen. So just so you know, if you can't read it, I don't know if you can. Oh, I can zoom. Let's zoom. Hey, that's too much. All right, cool. Native mobile and desktop apps. So native PHP actually started a few years ago with desktop. We are just now, I think 1.3 came out like yesterday, the day before. It's pretty robust. You can build Linux, Mac, and Windows desktops. Enhance. Is that Super Troopers reference? Enhance. And it's really actually really robust. I have nothing to do with desktop. Don't ask me any desktop questions. I did some live streams way a long time ago, but you know, like when it first was coming out, and but the guys over there, we have some help over there doing a bunch of stuff, a lot of contributors, and that's all open source, and it's awesome, the desktop side. For native PHP mobile, how did we do what we do? And I kind of explained it a little bit. We compiled PHP for C. We compiled PHP for iOS and Android. At its heart, PHP is a C language, and wouldn't you know it, iOS and Android also speak C. So we can do this thing called cross-compiling against the NDK for Android, and I think it's the tool chain for iOS. And we can come out with a C library, a PHP.C is what we call it, or an engine. I like to say it's an engine, and we have this runtime. And if we can shape our request coming in from a web view into the right shape, we can just pass it through this PHP engine, just as if like there's not anything special we're doing to PHP at all to make it work. And it will translate, it will do everything that PHP does, and it spits out a string, which is HTML. It's your headers and your body, and we parse that and we split it up properly and we send it back to the web view, and you end up with a Laravel app running natively on your device. And what's really cool is we've also compiled our own extensions into this PHP binary that exposes some native functions. And now that we have these native functions, they in and of themselves in PHP world, they don't do anything, but they are exposed inside of C on the other side on iOS and Android. And now we have a hook where we can actually call from PHP a function that will trigger a Kotlin or Swift code. So once you get to that point, you realize anything that the device can do, we now can do from Laravel. And I think that's really cool. I think it's very cool. And I think a lot of people think it's very, very cool. And I love to play with it. I like building just stuff on my own. I really like to demonstrate this. So I'm excited to show you guys. Right now, it is a paid license model. You can go to nativephp.com. Our pricing is $50 to $1,000, I think, for depending on how many licenses you want to build per year and all that stuff. And then we will also discuss Bifrost. Bifrost is a also my 90s movie where they zoom into security camera footage. Yes. Bifrost is our build service. So if you're familiar with things like Laravel Forge, you can imagine Forge, but for mobile apps. You can create a subscription, you can log in, you can connect your repo to a project, and you can deploy your native PHP apps and they go all the way to both the Play Store and the App Store Connect. We have a lot of features we're actually working on that I'm really excited to get into. I'm not going to talk too much about them, but we are working on over-the-air updates. We're working on like automations, workflow automation. So you can like tag a release on your repo, and that will trigger a certain kind of build that you get to define. Or if you push to an Android branch, for example, you can deploy right to Android internal testing versus closed test. You can manage however you want to with that stuff. So there's some good work making headway over there, and I'm excited for that to come out. The other thing that's a pretty popular request that we're looking into is screenshots. So all of the app stores require you to upload screenshots. So if we could automate that process and include it with any major updates, I think that would be a really cool thing and something we want to bring into Bifrost for sure. Bifrost is $19.49 or $99 a month, and that depends on, again, how many you want to build, how many on your team, all that kind of stuff. You can go to the website bifrost.nativephp.com, but every subscription comes with a free native PHP mini license. So you can go there, you can check it out, you can get in for as little as $19, decide you don't like it, and keep the license for the year, and you can still build native apps if you choose. That being said, that is my last slide, and I have a little bit of work to do to get things off my laptop onto the desktop here. I did some of that, but I still have to copy over like some env keys. But I want to, let's see if I can do, something like this, kind of. Let's see if that works. Okay, I'll have to go like this, yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. We got some code going on. And actually, you know what? I just realized something. Yep. This was wrong. Give me a second. This is why we practice, right? There we go. There we go. All right, much better, I think. All right, so on the right side of your screen, you will see good old PHP store, right? And this is just a Laravel application, and I've got GitHub Desktop open up on the side, and I've got some different branches, and we're just going to kind of like go through things, and I'm going to explain stuff. I am on the like base app, very few things done to the application. Let me go ahead and get this stuff set up though, real quick. That's not the right app. That is. Okay. And we can go into the env. So I was just bringing this over to this computer. Then I was like, you know what? Let's stream this thing, right? Paste that in there. That's got all of the stuff that we need. Don't know what that is. Oh, not important. And you guys have gone quiet. And I don't like that. Well, I have to, so I guess that's par for the course. env, and there might be something else, but actually I think that might be it. We'll see. If I run into it, I'll fix it. Okay, so we've got just our env. And if you look in the composer, you can see all I've done here is added this repositories node that's got some stuff for native PHP, and I've done a require, and that's it. That's it. That's the only thing I've done really here besides a new app, Laravel app. And then if I go to web, that's not how you spell web, any day of the week. Let's do this probably, so I don't have to, there we go. Yeah, there's actually like nothing here. This is just the default Laravel application. I've got native PHP installed, so I've already done the native install command. I have it part of my composer package, but I can run PHP artisan. For me, it's PA, just so no one's confused. Native run, and then I'm going to choose Android, and I'm going to say build equals debug. Boom. No Android project found at something. All right, so I didn't run that command that I thought I did. So PHP artisan native install. Cool. We're going to install both. And you're going to ask a couple questions here. Nothing really relevant for now, but for Android right now we have it compiled with and without intl/ICU extensions, which adds roughly 30 megabytes to your binaries. So that's an option. You need that if you're going to do like a filament app. So there you go. All right, here we go. Now we can run the run command, and I have no idea where this is going to pop up, but it's going to. I know it is. Hey, there it is. Cool. Let's go into other mode real quick. Let me move this around. There we go. All right. And I think if I go, yeah, like this. Cool. Oh, and let me transition. Perfect. All right, so we're going to give that a minute. It's going to do its thing. And what is its thing? Well, native PHP application package has both Android and iOS, all of the software, all of the code that you need for a, I would say regular app, but it's not a regular app, for a native PHP app. And so we copy that into the native PHP directory during installation. and during a run, what we're doing is going through your Laravel application. We're pulling away anything that you don't actually need, and we're zipping it up. By anything you don't actually need, I mean things like stuff in your storage, because you can have your own storage inside of the phone, or things like anything .git or anything, some things in the vendor native PHP directory that you just don't need, like the app that we're already copied into the safe write space. So we try to get this as small as possible. There probably are some more optimizations. When we first started this, at least for Android, it was roughly 100 megabytes or something like that. And it's now, I think, 16 or 17 megabytes. It's a very, very slim, small working surface for an app. But there you go. There you have it. You have a Laravel app running, a Laravel application, web application running inside your phone. And you can, and I hope this doesn't fail. I haven't played with this here, but should be fine. We'll do my let's do my official email. Let's do, not that it matters. And then password is my password. Password is my password, and create the account, and we're logged in. Now that raises like the very first question here, or the very first thing that you have to consider transitioning from web to mobile. What did I just log into? Does anybody have any ideas what I just logged into? That's right. I logged into the SQLite database that is inside of the device. There is a SQLite database inside of, actually it didn't come with one here, but usually there's one side of database, right? There's one there. It's inside of the device. It's a SQLite database inside of the device. Why SQLite, not MySQL? We get this question a lot. We chose to keep everybody safe. And we've seen people that we've told this to, and they're still trying to make it work, and it just won't work. We put it proudly in a couple places, at least inside of our docs. Here's the reason why. If we compiled MySQL into our binaries and you knew that you had access to a database, you would try to put production database credentials into your env, and it would work. And you would build an app and you would love it and everyone would be happy, and then you would distribute your app and somebody could hack your app and get your database credentials to production. And then we would feel guilty. Whether we're actually liable for it or not, it's a separate question. But that's not the paradigm that you need to think about. We don't talk to a database. You can store some data locally, and that's why we give you a SQLite database. Things like, imagine like a weight loss tracking app, right? Maybe you synchronize with an API for that stuff, or maybe it's just like, I just want to keep it on my device. If I delete the device, all that information goes away, fine, so be it. Like that's what I wanted to build. It's just for me, I don't really care. There's a million different ideas or suggestions, or things that uses for keeping all your data or some data on the device. You can also cache stuff that you pull in from the API and keep it in the database and that kind of stuff too. But that is why we don't ship with MySQL drivers. You cannot use MySQL native PHP. If you want to get data from any third party anything, use an API. Salmon Hype wants to be insecure and put my credentials in there, damn it. That's what she said. So that is the Laravel starter kit. Hello world, native PHP. We have an app. Let's see if we can even shrink this down. You can see the native PHP logo. And I would love to be able to close this. I know there's a way. Did that do it actually? No. That's a different app. There we go. All right. Oh, I remember the other way to do that. All right. So that is Bifrost. In my .env, you can see this little splash screen. You see the loading screen. in my .env. The only thing I really did to affect that is put Bifrost as the app name. We take that value and we use it for the app name inside of the app. Oscar is laughing. That's a good thing, Oscar. I'm glad. I like the laughter. I wish I could hear it. It'd be nice if it was kind of a conversation. But anyway, next, I've got another branch here where we introduce. Well, I was on init. Number 1, leave my changes. Cool. All right, and let's go into the web.php. I think I put notes here for myself. Yep, very few, sparse. All right, so this is just demonstrating the splash screen and the icon. So inside of public, this is like the first thing I always do. I find myself in like Illustrator or Canva or something and making like some logo for my app, right? So if you put a picture called splash.png, we recommend 1080 by 1920. And if you do a splash dark to handle for dark version, it will read your system. It'll read your system settings. If that phone is in dark mode, it will serve the dark image, and vice versa for the light mode. And then if you just have any app in any PNG in here called icon, again 1024 by 1024, and we rebuild the app. So let's do a run. And I should have done that while I was explaining everything. That way it would just pop up. You'll see it lasts just for a second or so. We used to have the black screen that said loading on the bottom. I did notice on another device when I was building this that there was some cache thing. So let's see if that actually happens or not. And we'll go from there. All right, it failed. Cool. And I think this might be related. Yep. So with a crash like that, it's probably just because I've brought in some dependencies that it wasn't ready for. So I'm going to do a native install force. You won't normally have to interface with this, but because I'm switching branches and context and all that stuff, we'll say both, and we'll do without ICU. And that'll do its thing, and then we'll run again. Nope, that one. Yep. And we'll give that another minute, and we'll talk about the weather. How's the weather? Where are you guys at? How's the weather? It's getting chilly. It's been getting chilly here where I'm at. I'm in South Carolina. I say chilly. I'm not going to try to, well, I can do it in Celsius. It's been down into like the high teens in Celsius, which is like 60 ish. Now that's interesting. What? Oh, insufficient store. Okay, so it's kind of helpful to see these things. This is good. This is a good scenario. It's good that this actually failed. It tells you right here, there's insufficient storage on this device. So it's because I had some other apps. That's how you get to the clear all thing. So let me just delete some of these other apps. Look at all these apps I got on here. That's why it's doing it. Laravel. Yeah, we're going to need a bigger boat, you guys. We're going to need a bigger boat. You're in Chicago. I got to tell you something about Chicago. All right. I went to Chicago. I was at PHP Tech this year in Chicago on the last day, right before we went to the airport and got on the airplane. Right before it, I went to, you probably want to fight me because I say the one that you don't like, but I went to Illuminati's. That's it. It sounds like Illuminati, but that's what everybody says, Illuminati's. Oh my God, I cannot wait to go back. I actually met somebody, I just told somebody the other day around here that's from Chicago, and they were like, oh, if you like that, there's a pretty good place. I got to check out the one that's down the street from my house. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I want to go back to Chicago just for that pizza. I'm from upstate New York originally. So, yeah, Lou's is so good. So I know like New York pizza, and I was always like diehard. It's New York pizza. I had deep dish before, but never like that. It's so good. Simon doesn't like pizza, so we don't want to talk about it too much. New Mexico for the week. Nice. Cool nights, I would imagine, being in the desert, right? New Zealand. That's interesting. Chicago pizza. All right, so we successfully done our thing there. We got a bunch of storage stuff gone. I sound like an idiot. We deleted some files to free up some storage, and now we should be good to go with our build here. And surprisingly, the pizza I liked the best was the vegetarian whatever. It had this tangy sweet tomatoes on it, and like I would not have imagined that, but I ended up eating that more. There's a splash screen, there's the icon. So you can see just by placing, that's literally like the only changes on this branch, and the web.php notes is you can see the icon has changed and the splash screen. So actually I'm going to put this right here so we can get to it quicker later. And there's the splash screen. And since this device is in dark mode, it's sort of the dark image. And that's how we do that kind of stuff. So you can see already there's like this connection of things that you would normally want to do. And we've made it do real cool things on the device. Let's move on to authentication. So let's make sure that this is, yeah, okay. All right, so authentication, small details, there's more notes. Authentication is done via, he actually, like, yeah, it's like a trigger thing. His childhood comes flashing back to him, and, you know, look out, because Simon's on the pizza again, you know? Authentication. So I started a couple apps ago with, everyone's talking about this thing called Saloon, and I'm like, I'll give it a shot. I like Saloon. I like it. If you haven't heard of Saloon, I'm not going to pull up the website now. It's Saloon, some Saloon PHP. Just look up Saloon PHP. They have a plugin for Laravel. It's freaking awesome. It converts like every request. So you have like this thing called, and I can show you, app, HTTP, integrations. Cool. So we have, yeah. I have a Bifrost connector. So that's like defining just some basic stuff about, and why is it like that? I wonder if this would even work. Doesn't know about these things. I know I did a composer. Of course I did. That's how I got NativePHP in there. Composer install. Oh, interesting. It wasn't there. Well, it's there now. Great. So index your stuff, PHP Storm. Get rid of those squigglies. Thank you. So you can like have your base URL, and you can set some default headers and all sorts of cool stuff. And then when you want to do like a request, you can like, instead of, it's all like each request to that connector is class based, right? So you have this authenticate class that you say like it, you know, we're passing some JSON, we're passing data up into the endpoint. This is the endpoint. And yeah, that's like it. It's a post request, right? And you can end up doing things like, let's go into home. By the way, this is a LiveWire application. Maybe you already mentioned it, but did you want to mention anything about speed? There's a misconception that it would be slow, but we in here know that isn't the case. Yes, if people think that it's slow, I mean, that's probably something during the intro maybe that I would recommend. And it's like, let's show you how slow or fast it is, right? Because it's on the device, making requests to the device, and then you have all the power of haters. I gotta boot this Simon dude. Haters. SQLite could feed really well into perform. Thank you for the tips. That's actually great. Yeah, and it's true. And you know, as I know, like the only times I've ever seen any kind of delay is when I'm making a request to an API. So like everything is almost instant. It doesn't feel slow. It doesn't feel laggy at all. It's not like a waiting process. We've done quite a bit of optimization and performance enhancements to get to that. some caching things, and just being smart with how we're doing some of that stuff. Anyway, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's a great piece to bring up. I use LiveWire almost all the time, and everything here is LiveWire, though Inertia and React and Vue, which I love also, work also, and like no issues. So go ahead and explore some of those things. But for today, we're just going to do a LiveWire app. So I'm going to show you this this home view first, and you can see like I've got this. I'm using Filament. And let's pull up the app actually. So let's go ahead and start running it. I'm using Filament, and you can see these classes here. Hopefully you can read these. So I've got like this logo is hidden in dark mode, and I've got this logo dark is hidden by default, and it's block in dark mode. So so we're recognizing from CSS, from Filament, if you're in dark mode or if you're not in dark mode, and you can serve up different icons or different anything that you could think. So fully handles anything you want to do with dark mode, just the way that you would normally want to interface with a dark mode kind of API. So there is our login screen, and so that is so we're doing this right here. This is interesting. I like this. This is your introduction to your very first native PHP function, and that is this computed property already secure. That says if the secure storage get token is blank. What is secure storage? So authentication and security are something that we pay a lot of attention to as web developers that have nuked production databases and had to be up till 5 o'clock in the morning fixing things. We don't want that kind of experience for you, especially. Or God forbid, your clients, right? I mean, I don't think they'd be up until, I don't think your clients would nuke your production database, but you know what I'm saying. So one of the very, very first things when we first came out with native PHP, people were like, let's have camera and gyro and like all these things. And we're like, no, you need secure storage. Because it's like, you don't know what you don't know. And we know what we didn't know. And we didn't know what we did know. I don't know what that is. Secure storage is the same level of encryption that your bank has on your phone now. So we've done the AES, whatever, 256. It's whatever the encryption is that's built into the device. So both iOS and Android have their own encryption libraries, and we're just piggybacking off of that. So I'm checking if I reach into that secure storage for this app, it's scoped to the app, and I'm saying, hey, is there a token there or a key called token? Well, if there isn't, and if that's blank, then you have not signed in before. And if there is a token there, then we can say, oh, you are already logged in. And so we can just do some really cool things with that. And you'll see in the next branch, I believe, some of the cool stuff that we can do with that. So if they're not secure, then we have this LiveWire auth login. And we'll look at the back end of this for a minute. So we're doing just some regular validation here. I don't think I'm like putting the validation errors out on the screen, but it's the same way that you would do it inside of any LiveWire Laravel app. And hopefully you guys can see this okay. If you can't, just let me know. So I have this login function that validates. And then I have this, like I was showing you, this authenticate saloon. I'm just using dependency injection, bringing the connector in and bringing in the request. And I have this body merge, and I just taken the email and the password after it's been validated, and I'm sending it through the connector, and then I come back with a response. And if that response has any errors, I'm just gonna like take the message node off of the JSON and do a dialog toast. And I think if you just do like blah at blah dot blah, that's going to come back with blah. There you go. The provided credentials are incorrect. That response came directly from the server. That was the message that came back from the response. And then it resets. I'm using LiveWire to reset the password so that you could try again, right? Let's be a little nice here. If not, then we have a status. We make sure that the status is HTTP OK, which is a 200. And then we're setting token, and we actually probably don't even need this stuff because this is old. I don't need that anymore. we are setting the token, the key token, to the response JSON data.token. So there's a token that comes back from that. And I'll show you a cool little thing while you're debugging with or building things. It's a little bit quirky, but it absolutely works. We're going to run this again in watch mode with the watch flag on. It's also available on iOS, though. Yeah, just check the docs on that. It's preferred actually right now, at least, to like have a separate command line open and terminal open and run native watch instead. And it works great. I used it actually a lot today to get some light mode stuff done because all my phones for Android are dark mode and my actual iPhone is in dark mode as well. Anyway, so now that we have that, I can say, let's see, scroll. All right, so when that comes back with a key, then I want to display it on, I want to display it. So we'll just die and dump it here. Cool. Actually, I won't do it there. I'll do it after we set it. That way the next request will already have it. So we're going to do, and I'm going to probably just take this over here to put my password in. Okay, and click login. And there's my token. So that token is a token that came back from the server, and we have a token. And so that's already been set inside of secure storage. So if I now take this away and I save it, it should hot reload. And now I should be logged in. It should tell me that I'm logged in. And if you saw briefly on the bottom, it said something about, well, if I do a little change here, you'll see it again. Hot reloaded, but then there's another one right after. Nope, it didn't pop up. Oh, I'm sorry. That's on the next branch anyway. So it's detected that the key is there now, and I have been logged in. And because we're logged in, we can just continue on to the application. And so when I click on, I didn't click it. There we go. There's an empty button here that shouldn't be there. We can go into web, and we can go into the index class and get rid of that. Oh, I hate my render view being up there. Well, that should have fun getting dinner with the fam, Ben McKay. Thanks for joining. So I took the user and the team ID out of the whole equation there. So that would not be there anymore. But yeah, we could store that too. Whatever, it's not a big deal. All right, cool. So now we've got our token. We're logged in. We are in. I want to point out one other thing that is in my web.php. I have this middleware called has token middleware, and I've wrapped any of my app routes with this middleware. This has token middleware does the same thing the other one did. I get the token from secure storage. If it's blank, then just go home. And if not, just continue. So this is like an authentication middleware. We're authenticated into the API fully. Now you can get smart here and check the token against the API. Maybe you have like a refresh rule or something like that on the server that token's invalid. You know, you can get smart, and this is probably a good spot to do something like that. And that is some of that stuff. Let's move on from here. And actually, before I do that, let me check these in. Check in. Async biometrics. All right, this is kind of cool stuff. All right, so let's go back to that login screen. And actually, let's go ahead and log out here. I want to show you one of the key fundamentals of working with native PHP apps on mobile. And that is asynchronous functions. If you remember back when I first started, I was talking about not wanting to hold up the PHP process. We don't want to hold, like if you open the camera, we don't want any code to just be idle, sitting there waiting, running, waiting for this callback to happen, because that's not performant, right? So we have this. Let me show you what we have. wrong one. All right. Cool. All right. So in the mount method of my home view here, I am checking. So this is outside of the login screen. The login is inside. The login LiveWire app component is inside of this. When you first boot up the home screen, essentially, we're checking if this is already secure, as I already explained. Then we're going to do this function, biometrics prompt for biometric ID. Well, and that does exactly what you would think it is. Let me go ahead and log in. All right, so we are logged in, and now what I want to do is close the app because our token is in secure storage, right? So the token stays, the token persists. It's in the phone itself. And it did not prompt me for biometric ID, which is interesting. Oh, because I have to reload it. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and push this back to the phone. The new code has to go into the device. The hot watch there, the watch flag, that's just like making changes during the life of that app. Once you close it, it's kind of actually lost the connection already. So we'll give this a moment. I am logged in, so I should see a toast at the bottom, or it might just prompt me. It depends on the state of this device. All right, no biometric credentials are enrolled, as you can see down here. So what I'm going to do is go into the device settings. I didn't have to close it there, but that's fine. I'm going to go into the device settings, and I'm going to search for finger. We're going to add a fingerprint. Now, you're going to say, Shane, this is an emulator. How are you going to add a fingerprint? Well, I have this really cool mouse, and I'm totally kidding. I do have a cool mouse. It's magic, actually. Don't try charging them. Inside of the settings, these three little dots here of your emulator for Android, you can actually go to fingerprint and you can touch the sensor. So we just added finger 1 to our system. So now that that's done, we can open native Bifrost back up. We can close this down. Actually, we'll keep that open. And all right, this right here is an important moment to talk about why we are not, this can sit here as long as we want. So what we did with this prompt for biometric ID was we broadcasted to the device, hey, we want you to scan in, and that is all that we did. We want you to scan in with your biometric ID, whether that's face on iPhone or on Android 2, or if it's a fingerprint, etc. Scan in, and that's it. That's all that did. On the way back, when you scan properly, we now emit an event. And the way that we emit the event is, first of all, we had to figure out a way to hook into that event natively, right? Since we have full control over the web view, well, you can do something really cool, like inject JavaScript to be run. It's like a self, what is it called? A self-calling function, right, inside of JavaScript. And that's what we're doing. So the self-closing JavaScript, self-calling JavaScript, and this is just broadcasting a native JavaScript event. Because PHP is not in this lifecycle at all at that point, we're using JavaScript. Inside of JavaScript, you can listen for JavaScript events on LiveWire, on React, on Vue, on everything. In addition to that, we're also posting to our own internal API endpoint inside of the device that takes the payload of data for your event, and it just calls it. We have the string of the event, and so we call the event from within Laravel. So actually, so we're saying when you call this native:completed class event, then we're going to return, redirect project, whatever you want to do here. You can say whatever you want to. The cool thing about the biometric one is if we go to fingerprint and we do a different finger, we never get that successful callback, that Boolean. It fails before it even gets there. So you only ever get true when you call that. So just a little gotcha there. But this is going to fail. It's going to fail. But I want to show you a couple other little things here. Number one, inside of Android only, because iOS is a pain, we have this method called NativeTail. And this is going to show me, oh, there are no logs yet. All right, so we haven't logged anything to it. That's why. This is going to show me what's inside of the Laravel .log file inside of the app, because what you have here is not going to be the same. But I think we'll just do this off the cuff. Let's go PHP artisan, make event. Event, and make a listener called authenticated biometric something, right? Biometric. Sure. And then we're going to do the event equals, well, we'll plug it in there actually, because it's the whole namespacing of it. So we'll make our listener and this is going to handle the completed event. Yes, perfect. All right, so I just want to do like logger. We are authenticated, if that's how you spell it. I think that's it. All right, so that's it. So this is showing a couple things. Number one, we're going to hit this event listener. Yeah, anything that's inside of that payload of data, you're going to have access to it. We even can let's just show it. It's probably for this, it's a very basic one, but logger event. Let's do a print r event true. Okay. And let's run it again. So I do think we have to, we might have to push this back to the device. We'll find out. We'll find out the hard way. That's fine. Let's go with finger one. Boom. Logged us in. And if we now tail, let's see if that worked here. All right, it did not. So that just tells me that that doesn't exist yet because it didn't write to it. So let's run it again. It's going to close, it's going to reopen, it's going to recognize that we have a token and ask for our credentials, our biometric credentials again. There are only certain apps and files and directories that we watch for. So I think the events one probably isn't in there, of the listener. So let's try it this time. So we are logged in, wonderful. And if I tail it again, hey, it didn't work. I wonder why that happened. Well, maybe I won't demonstrate that then. It absolutely should work. That's kind of crazy. I will dig into that at some point. This wasn't even planned to be part of this, but it should have worked for sure. Anyway, that is how asynchronous functions work. Do I want to go into it? I want to take 10 seconds and just look into this. Let's go ADB shell, and let's go. So you can SSH right into your Android device, which is awesome. And then you can say run -as and put in the app ID, and you are inside of your app. And you can cd into app storage. And we have persisted data, cd persisted data. And we have our storage there. We have our logs. And that's we have LSLA. And we don't have anything there. It's interesting. So I will look into that. I'm not sure why that happened, but I'll figure it out. Enough said. Yep, we'll terminate that. But that's a cool little thing that you can do too with your apps. Onward and upward. Any questions? Anyone there? Any questions about async, biometrics, anything like that? I'll take a moment here just to ask you guys. Okay. Great. So we're about an hour into it and have not even gotten close to anything awesome yet. I mean, some cool things along the way, but let's kick it up a notch real quick. Let's go ahead and rerun this. Cool. And we're going to go into web.php. And that doesn't look right at all. Oh, I guess it is. Yeah, actually it is. I just didn't leave notes because there's so much going on inside of this installation, this version here. And you will see. So we are logged in and I've created I've created a way to kick off builds with Bifrost. So that's probably a good time to talk about Bifrost for a moment. I will show you my Bifrost account. Here is Bifrost. And let's make this like this. Cool. So Bifrost is a great way, again, to manage your native PHP apps, CI/CD sort of stuff, and deployments and all that. This is the kitchen sink app. So we have an app that kind of demonstrates all of the native functions. We are updating that. We just open sourced it, actually. You can check it out on Discord or check me out on Twitter, and we all posted it recently. The kitchen sink app, it goes right to Play Store and App Store and all that stuff. And you can come in here because we've already set up our credentials, which is something we're going to get into for Android and iOS. And there's some config, build configuration stuff, and like set it up with GitHub so it knows which repository we're on and all that stuff, right? We can come in here and we can say ship, and let me pick like a same number that we've already used. 5.8. We'll go off the main branch because I think it's the only one right now anyway, and we'll say Android. We'll do an Android build, and that's signed. And we'll just do an APK because maybe we want to sideload it. We want to distribute it on our internally to our own customers or something like that instead of on the App Store. We'll say ship it. And it's queued there, and it's kicking off a job in the back end, and it's doing all sorts of magical, awesome, cool things. And I would love to see that in my mobile app, right? Well, I can. And so now if I click on this, I can go into, there we go. It's giving it a second to load. But you can see this one is, this one's orange. This is 1.5.8. This is paginated right now. I'm just showing like the last 15 or something like that. But I can conversely kick off a new build from within the app. So if I click new build here, I can say, all right, 1.5, let's do 1.5.9, right? And it's going to be an Android app again, for whatever reason. And we'll select our build configuration, and we're going to say, no, I don't want to deploy it to the App Store. Maybe I do, or whatever. And we'll say ship it. Build created successfully. You can see here on Bifrost that automatically brought that in. It's 1.5.9. It's Android. You can see like the config is matched up. This is like always one, well, not always one step behind. We're working with like the queued state. So it's like just stuck on the what will be the first step after it's queued up. But after that, these are in sync now. So you can see this is on install, and whenever this changes, sometimes this changes fast because they're wire pulling. Excuse me, both of them are wire pulling. So, you know, sometimes it's faster or gets that note a little sooner than the other. So that's the Bifrost app. That's in essence what it is. And I am going to, for tonight, I'm going to stop right there. However, for my talk, what I'm going to do is actually get push notifications working. So when it's complete, we'll get push notifications on the device. And we're going to also add a new app to the NativePHP Bifrost account called Bifrost. So I'll have a Bifrost app, and it's going to be awesome. And I have a little bit of work to do with that, but in essence, that is it. Yeah, so we're going to stop it there for tonight. I really appreciate you guys. I don't think anybody's listening to me right now, but that's okay. If you watch this stream after it was streamed, that's cool too. Maybe you have some questions. You can find me on Discord. Go to nativephp.com, scroll to the bottom, find the Discord link, join. And yeah, I'm almost always around and love talking about all these things and making it better. We're getting better every day. And that's it. Thanks, Jim. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was kind of fun. Fun thing. Pretty fun. PHP sucks. You sucks. Boom. There it is. Yeah, I think that's it. It was nice to hang out with you guys too. I really appreciate it. Not much more to say, so I'm just going to end it right there. See you guys on the everything else later. Thanks, George. I didn't leave yet. Saw a couple messages coming. Bye.